I'm not waiting on Rhett. He can, little flaker. Let me see if I can find. Let me see if I can find something with more swings.
Well, I know he was having internet issues, so that could be it.
Yeah, this got some pretty good. Hmm, let's see.
Nice job with the bot, man.
What's that?
Nice job with the bot.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's doing pretty good. Okay, eBay's a pretty good example of what we're looking for drawing trend lines. And again, I only draw one, depending on which direction it's going. If it's a bullish trend, I only put one line at the bottom. You guys can put two if you want. I can see trend lines before I even draw them on the chart, so I don't have to draw them. So just to keep it easier for me and less cluttered on my chart, I only draw one. I use the parallel channel up here in the trend line toolbox deal to make my trend line because I think the little tiny lines are just too small. And this kind of gives you a range of where it's going to stop and turn around, or where it should stop and turn around.
Dylan, I'm sorry to interrupt, but is your screen live? Because I'm still on the message page.
Yeah, it should be. You might have to click.
I had to click
Uh,
outside of it and it came
is it
up.
the one that says turn on camera, like camera for me or camera for
No,
you?
it's man, it should say view stream maybe.
Stream. Okay, I see share screen. Nothing.
Do you
Oh, okay, cool.
you got it?
Gotcha. Yep. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
What was it? What was it that you clicked?
The thing with everybody's names in it.
Yep.
To the left, top, it says view stream.
Perfect. Okay. All right, Max Payne. I'm mainly talking to you. You see, okay, what we're looking for when we're drawing a trend line. Let me find my little deal. Um, let me. Can I scroll over here to where it's blank? Okay, so it's gonna be either like this. Ooh, we're gonna go off the chart. It's gonna be like this, or it's going to be going sideways. That's really the only only three directions something's gonna go. All right, let me change the color. Nope, that's not what I want to do, Jimmy. Okay, now I'll change the color. Okay, so on an uptrend, I'm mainly looking for. So we know that it's gonna make. Let me change the color now. We know that it's gonna make higher lows and higher highs. So what we're trying to do is connect all the higher lows,
Mm-hmm.
the ones that really swing down there and make the low. And by the time you find the first two or three, that's pretty crappy drawing, but by the time we find the first two or three, we'll be able to go ahead and extend that out, and you'll know that that's our trend line because everything will start to line up for you. And on a sideways deal, same thing. You can find all the swing highs and lows. And then on a downtrend, we're looking for all the lower highs. And then we're just going to be connecting those. And so when you connect it and you extend it out there, hey, now we know that this is probably going to come back to it, our line. And we're going to look to buy puts or go short, whatever you're trading, right there on that line. So look for, on like a downtrend, look for all the lower highs, and on an uptrend, look for all the higher lows, and then just start to connect those.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Now let me get rid of all these lines.
the biggest issue I'm having is, determining when it breaks. Like say I'm on an uptrend, and when it breaks my support. You know, I mean, there's been times when I'll get out of it, and then that sucker will just
Shoot
freaking
back up
shoot
in it.
it up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing we can do about that. You did what you should have if you got out of it and played it safe.
Okay.
A lot of stuff does that, and it is what it is, and then you just kind of got to take it on the chin and go on to the next one.
Yeah.
A US 30 likes to do that a lot. A lot, a lot.
It hurts so bad when it
Yeah,
does that.
indeed. I mean, it is. I mean, it sucks, but um, let's see what Walmart was doing beforehand. Okay, so Walmart so far,
eBay?
kind of moving up. eBay, sorry. Uh, it was moving up a little bit. They must have got some news or earnings or something right here that really shot them up and kind of changed the steepness of the trend there. But so we have this low point right here. So now we really need to just wait for the next one. And this was a pretty fresh move. We would probably think that this is, but then it came lower, so we know we can get rid of that point right here that we just drew, and this is where we can start to go off of, and then we can connect those two with a trend line. And let me put a different little box in here, and so we could connect these two with a trend line because that's one low, and then here's our next low since it broke down lower than the one that we probably would have thought was the low. And so then we could have extended this box out, and that's how we got the green box here. And so we can extend that out, and this entire move, or this for what, 3 or 4 months here, this we could have been trading this entire time, just coming back to it every day, looking for when we're getting right here. And once you get a little experience under your belt, you're kind of getting up here into these highs, and you can put that other trend line up there if you want to, and you can play puts on all of these right back down to your trend line, and then flip it around for some calls right off the trend line, back and forth. One stock for, I mean, you could be swing trading this for months and making money back and forth on it, not having to touch or search for anything. Once you have that trend line in there, that's the most powerful thing you can do.
Is that your, what is that, the daily chart?
This is 4 hour.
So you're legit just trading, during the day, buying and calling, or buying and selling calls and puts, like, in the same day.
Yeah, I mean, I'll hold them if they're if it's on the trend line like this and we're on the 1 or the 4 hour chart. Yeah, I mean, there ain't no sense in getting rid of it. Yeah, it depends. I mean, it's gonna depend on how much profit I see. If I got 5, 6, 7, or 10 calls on something on the trend line, and like by the end of the day I'm just fucking rolling in it, yeah, I'm taking it. I'm not gonna give them a chance to take it back. I'll search later that evening after I get done at the house or whatever. I'll come in here at the computer and I'll search for the next thing that's on the trend line, or like I said. What was one I looked at earlier? Somebody had sent me looking beautiful to come back down to our trend line. So if I see something like this on an uptrend, I'm experienced enough to where I know, hey, this is most likely coming back down here to our trend line. So on its way down, back to the trend line, I can buy some puts on this. Should a newer trader do this? Probably not. They should probably wait until it touches off on the trend line and buy some calls with everybody else. But and like I can, like you were saying, like if this thing I get in and it moves, $5, $3, $10 in my favor, yeah, I'm probably gonna go ahead and take it. I don't have to wait, and you shouldn't wait, go ahead and take your profit off the table, because this type of deal can happen where you think you're gonna go all the way back down the trend line, and then they turn it around and go back up to touch the resistance. So it's always a good idea to take your profit as it's moving in your favor, but you don't always have to take all of it, of course. But the same thing, we got a low over here, low point. We didn't get a low until really right here. We could have thought this was one, but then we would have been corrected by these. And so once you got this, you could have popped in this yellow trend line and been trading this thing back. That's all it really consists of. You just make a watch list of everything that has a good trend on it, an easy trend. Come in here when it touches off on these lines and buy calls or puts. or if it's US 30s.
at the same time.
Yeah. No, not at the same time.
Oh,
You buy calls down here on the trend line. You buy puts up here at the resistance. Same thing. Like, this is close enough for me. Beginner trader probably shouldn't mess with that unless it touches off on your trend line.
okay.
Over here calls, over here puts.
Mhm.
Trying to get everybody to pay attention to the times that it touches the actual trend line. It's like we could turn on vision. Yeah, probably still on a scalper mode. Now I'm on advanced. But like if we go to like beginner, does exactly what it should do. Gives you less trades, more confirmed trades. We can see here we have a bull signal right on our trend line. Beautiful. Another one right here, right on our trend line. Right after it touched off, moved up a little bit, and a little extra confirmation on the beginner modes. But it's doing what it should.
Okay.
So like if we go back to eBay, every single one of these beauties is right on our trend line. And I got extended hours off. I typically keep them off because it's just a bunch of BS that I don't care about.
Yeah.
For me, I think most experienced traders are trading with extended hours turned off because they're not sitting there at night watching the charts. So in my mind, neither should you. But
Dylan, can you show where you would put your top, the trend line for the top?
yeah,
Or your tail?
you can get this little ray tool because you can kind of put it on a point up here, and it'll kind of shoot a little laser line right out through there.
Oh, wow.
I would probably be somewhere in there, and then I'd go back over that with the box.
What was that, a ray?
Yeah, it's in the same toolbox deal as the trend line and stuff, but it's called a ray.
Okay.
So I'd probably be somewhere in there because and when you get a line in there and you want to test it to kind of see how correct you think you probably are, this is a big way to see if it tells me how right I am. If I see gaps right at my trend line, I know I'm 110% right. Because it's like this most likely in after hours or pre-market, this thing, came up above, and then they shot it right back down, back into the trend. They slapped it just right back in there. That means it opened up inside the trend. They thought they were doing something special, and the whole market said, no, you're not. And so like all these gap ups through here and gaps back down, that like this right here, let me give it a little drawing tool deal. This right here gaps back down, it tests right on that line that I just drew, popped up a little bit and then fell back below it. So that tells me my trend line is pretty damn close to being in the correct spot that everybody else sees. And that's what you want to do. You want to see what the majority of everybody else sees so you can trade right alongside the majority of everybody else. Because if you have the numbers on your side, you're going to win probably most of the fucking time. You want to trade with everybody else and let them kind of add to the pile of, like, if you're buying calls down here when Vision says to buy these calls on the trend line and everybody else is buying calls, you guys are going to be more right and stronger than the people that thought they should buy puts right there for whatever reason. Because believe it or not, there's people that are buying puts right there. Yeah, it's a good way. That's a good way to see if your trend lines are correct. Start looking for the gaps around your trend line, and then start looking for tests around your trend line. So this, I could probably move it up a little bit because this was probably testing the trend line there. But I can also just make my range box a little bit wider, which you can see here. It's kind of poking up a little bit high there. And it looks like this could have probably been testing the same trend line. So you can come over here. Let me get rid of this drawing tool. You can come over here, grab your little range box trend line, and kind of just adjust it a little bit. But it's so close to being in the right spot, around about the area you should be expecting a turnaround.
Right.
And kind of like what Jake was saying, the only reason a trader that does this can't have a 100% win ratio is we might go in here tomorrow and buy calls right here, you know, 2 or 3 months out on the expiration, plenty of time to let this thing grow and build off of this trend line. But then, 2 or 3 days from now, this thing just dumped through here. Maybe some news or whatever happens. It's just what it is. Nobody can stop it. We can't foresee it. We can't tell the future. It is what it is. Just cut it off. If it does, cut it off. Typically I cut them off when it comes down. When if it breaks through and it comes back to test it, when it fails that test and then starts to move down again, that's when I'll cut it off. Because a lot of times, just like Jake said, you cut it off and then it goes shooting right back into the trend, and it's just one of them traps. Um,
Mhm.
so I wait for it to come back and test. 9 out of 10 times it'll come back and test your trend line, and that's out the top side too. So if it comes up here, breaks out of this, 9 out of 10 times it'll come back, test that trend line, and then move back. So watch for the test, and US 30 is a beautiful example of this. Really, everything is a beautiful example. Just start to look for those tests, and that's the same test that I'm talking about, uh, to kind of confirm if your trend line is in the correct spots. So like that, like I was saying, this here popped up out of it, and then came down here and tested on something. That was the trend line that it was testing on.
Makes sense.
So let me delete all these lines, and then we'll go find some random stuff to start drawing some trend lines on.
Hey Dylan,
What's up?
can you explain what Vision's looking at to give the take profit signal? And like once you take profit and jump out of the trade, you'll not jump back in until it go back to the trend line?
Well, I can't tell you what Vision does to get to take profit signals for obvious reasons, but I can tell you you really should listen to them. Now, like, if here's the trick, like the take profit signals here around the top, where your big strong resistance is of the whole trend, you should, if you're still in your full position from, let's say, buying down here at this bull signal on the trend line support, if you're still in 100% of your position and you see the take profit pop up here at your resistance of the trend, you should close 100% of that position. But if it's here in the middle, these take profit signals in the middle of the trend, or right here down towards the bottom of it, you might think of just taking a little bit of the profit off the table instead of all of it, because most likely it's still going to build and it's going to reach your top trend line. So it's just I like to turn on. Let's see if it'll do it here. It's pretty close. Let me go to the 1 hour so we get a little bit more price action in there. So when you turn on the Vision SNR indicator that we built, I like to use these support and resistance lines that are in here as your take profit levels. So like your first box here, if you got in here on the trend line, if you had Vision on like a higher setting and the signal was down here, your first level would be like your take profit 1, your second area on the Vision SNR would be your take profit 2, and like your third would be your third. And so I like to use those as those take profit levels, and you can see that we get take profit signals right at those exact support and resistance levels that pop up from that indicator. So if you haven't used that yet, it's free. It's in the indicators there on TradingView. It's Vision SNR. You type in Vision, and you can usually see it pop up. Once you type in Vision, start paying attention to those lines, and they will self-adjust themselves. So you just turn on the indicator and let it work. And as price, if you're in a position and price starts to approach those levels, go ahead and take some profit off the table. Just be safe and just take it off the table. Because once you do that, by the time you take profit off the table once or twice, well, all that's left on your position, right here, that could be running and going up to the trend line resistance, all that profit's basically free money that you made already off of your position or off your calls. and that's all this free money. So if you lose it, it is what it is, and you don't lose actually any of your capital. Sorry, I had to sneeze.
Bless you.
But yeah, turn on your Vision SNR and start to use those levels as take profit levels. And like Jake, like on the crypto stuff and forex stuff. Sorry, I had to sneeze again. That's really big things. They always have take profit 1, 2, 3. If you ever seen anybody that has like forex signals or whatever, that's exactly what they're doing to get those take profit levels. When they say take profit 1, 2, or 3, they're just looking at the resistance areas, because it will be resisted there at least a little bit. Even if it's a light resistance, not a really strong one, it will have some type of resistance there, and there's no sense in chancing it. And so you should just go ahead and take a little bit off the table of your profit.
Okay.
Just like, over here we shot through these levels. Cool, super sweet, dandy, made a bunch of money. But over here we smacked this one once, we smacked it twice, and both times shot it straight back down. So that'll really help you guys in holding on to your profits instead of giving them right back to people.
Sense. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Another question. So since these seems more like swing signal, if you like miss the signal on the day that was given out and it's in the middle of the move, should you like not jump in and just go find another?
Yep, exactly.
First?
Yep. That goes back to the controlling emotion. Like you gotta, it sucks, I know, but you gotta just tell yourself, you know what, I'm not gonna lose money because I'm being stupid and just chasing this thing. Because that never works out. And this is the same thing. You mentioned swing trading. This is the same exact thing. Like I'm on the 15-minute chart here. This is typically where I day trade now. I used to trade the 5 minutes only, but just I don't know. I love trading the 15-minute now for some reason. I feel like there's a lot more experienced traders using it on the other side of the screen. And so what I like to do is I like to turn on like the scalper modes, so I get really fast signals when buyers start to come in. And so I have my same green trend line that I drew from the 4-hour chart, right? So as soon as I get a signal on that trend line, I'm doing the same damn thing. I'm buying calls. I'm not holding on to them at all. Like I'm in, I'm making some profit, I'm out. I'm waiting for the next signal on the trend line. And so like you can have 4 or 5, 6 of these, you can have 20 stocks like this that you're watching, have all your trend lines saved on there, and just check them every day. Like how close am I to it? So you got bull signals here. Okay, sweet. If there's not one yet, like, you see we're kind of in the middle here. Not one yet. We're going to watch it, kind of just click back and forth to it as the day goes on. And then once it gets to it and you get a signal on there, well, we know it's going to happen. 9 out of 10 times that thing is going to pop off of that trend line and we're going to make some money on some calls. Stuff like this that's up here this high, I'm not going to mess with it. It's just, it's not down here on the trend line. I know I have a 9 out of 10 chance of making some money on it. Up here, it's 50-50. This thing could pop up a little bit and then shoot back down, or it could pop up and take off. But I'm not, why risk your money like that? 9 out of 10 times on the trend line, 50-50 in the middle. Not worth it. So just wait for that trend line, and if it, like I said, if it's not here yet, well, we'll swap over here to Bitcoin. We'll swap over here to Ethereum. We'll swap over here to, Aussie dollar, or we'll swap over here like Walmart or Apple or Tesla. There's plenty of stuff out there that's getting ready to pop a signal on a trend line. Plenty. I mean, you will always be able to find something. So just have a big old watch list. Go through the list. Oh, that one's real close to the trend line. Let's watch this for 5-6 minutes. And boom, you get your trend line. But this is the same exact trend line that I drew on the 4-hour chart. Same one. Now, if you wanted to, if you got a day job, I would personally say swing trade your life away. And you're gonna make more money than somebody day trading, in my opinion. Unless I'm just here 8 hours a day in front of the screen, you're gonna make more money than a day trader. Because you're collecting this entire move, or at least half of it. I'm collecting just a little just a little pop, off the trend line, and I'm okay with that because I make, I add the way I make good money off of day trading like that is I I buy numbers of contracts, where one or two, three contracts on this, on a ride from this trend line up to the resistance would make probably about the same money, if not more. But yeah, if I was someone with a day job or just didn't want to sit in front of the screen all day, swing trade it all day. Same moves, longer time frame, gives you more time in between. This is really, it's not even that much time. Let me see. The measure tool should give me the idea of how many days this was here. So here to, we got our first red candle. It's, let's see. Come on, man, give me August 10th to August 16th. So 6 days. If you held it the entire time, which, let's be honest, we probably wouldn't. We'd probably be so giddy about it, and we'd already took profit. So a nice week. Just watching that thing grow. It's amazing. Easy money. If you just want to get in there for one or two candles on the 4-hour chart and not swing the entire thing, it's good too. Some of the names that you wouldn't think would make very much money are insane money makers. Like even comparing Tesla trades I've done to what you probably wouldn't think would make very much money, which is Dollar General. Dollar General, I have never seen my profit grow so fast than a Dollar General trade. That thing, I don't know what the deal is, but boy, Dollar General contracts like to explode in value. No, get that out of here. Fucking Wells Fargo.
I remember those Dollar General
Dude,
profits.
insane. And that's why, I'm sure that's why what's his name was trading them.
Yeah.
But like SRNE, same thing. $7, $8, $9, $10 price for the stock per share, and the contracts for like what I paid for them that one time, like $20. The thing barely moved like 5 or 10 cents, and like the contract premium exploded. It was like, I was like, damn, what the hell? So I really need to keep trading that thing. Anyway, does everybody understand how to draw trend lines? Better now, anyway?
Yeah, that was super helpful.
And if you don't fully understand it yet, what you need to do now is just go back every day. Screen time is what you need. As soon as you understand how to draw trend lines and you can kind of get in and start to fiddle with it and get them at least very close, that's kind of where the range box will help you out. You get them real close, and you'll still see price reacting to your trend lines. And then over time, with more time sitting in front of the screen and stuff, it will start to all just start getting better and better and better, just like any other thing, Like you go to school to be a welder or a doctor or whatever. It's all the same thing. But like all these signals down here, I mean, just, of course I got it on scalper mode, so that's why you're seeing a lot of signals. But all popping up here on the trend line. Another thing that'll help you out, if you guys are having trouble still drawing trend lines, is swapping to a different style candle, because standard candles can be kind of tricky. So like Heikin Ashi will respect trend lines and support and resistances like crazy. Amazing. Like you can see every one of these bodies down here stopped at our trend line. The wicks are the only thing that kind of protruded past it. Heikin Ashi is something else when it comes to see, like now we can really kind of narrow this in. Yeah, we're looking pretty spot on. So like, okay, here's a spot that we can use to kind of confirm. So you kind of see this pop down a little bit, popped back up, and then fell through. That tells me that it popped down and got supported and tested on our trend line, and then eventually broke through it because it was too weak. So I can kind of take this and I can adjust it down a little bit more, and I'm pretty confident that that's exactly where everybody else is seeing their trend line. It's boom.
You'll start on the Heikin Ashi, or you just switch back?
It just, I mean, for me, I don't need to start out on anything. I can see it on whatever I'm on. But for a beginner, yeah, Heikin Ashi all the way. And then if that doesn't help, go to a line chart. Line chart's insane. If you can't see it on a line chart, just hang it up. Like line chart is like, I would say, one of the easiest things to see it on. And you can get confused by places like this, because you can draw a line here easy. But how many touches are you going to get with that versus putting your trend line here? And it doesn't mean there's not a trend line there. Some people will have like 100 trend lines in this whole area. Like we can throw a trend line right through here and hit quite a bit of areas, and it all makes sense. Like, I'm not saying that's not viable. Like, there could be a lot of people with a trend line here as well. And if you pay attention to all these channels, these channel tools, what you'll see is all of them have a midline. And the reason for that is a lot of people trade to and from the midline. They'll come in here and they'll buy off the support, and then you'll see it actually bounce right on that midline of that channel. And then sometimes it'll come down and bounce up like this, and people play that little bounce, and you'll see this happen a million times. So if you want to, after you start doing better on trend lines, pay attention. You can kind of, let's say I start one right here. Let's just go ahead and I'll just show you. So we'll put this box, I'm just going to throw it in here. Not every trend is going to be a channel, but let's just say for this instance, since it is a channel, we'll use it. Now look at where my midline is. I'll swap back to the Heikin Ashi so we can kind of get a better view. Look at how many times that midline gets resisted, supported. Does everybody see it?
Spot.
Easy money. So when if you see a channel, if it's not there, it's not there. So don't try to force it. But if you see a channel on something, go ahead and draw a full box on the whole thing, or just draw the middle line on the whole thing. Or like now that we have the box there, and let's say you don't want the full box, you can kind of just place that ray tool right there in the middle and kind of get it around the about area, and then you can go back and delete the box, and you'll just have that little line. But it's of course up to you. So yeah, if it is a channel, like I said, don't force it. But if it's a channel, definitely pay attention to the midline. Sorry, I'm eating something right now, but this little red dot is bothering me. All right, does anybody else have any questions?
Hey Dylan, what's the difference? Just a quick down and dirty on swing trade and day trade.
By definition, swing trading is just holding on to something for longer than a day. Like you're just swinging it over the next day. You're swinging it. I would say swing trading is anything that you're really not long-term investing, but you're holding for more than a day.
Okay.
Like Rivian, I have a bunch of it, and I plan on long-term investing in it. Like holding it for a while. But if I start to see a lot of profit, like I have been, it might be a swing trade. And then once it gets some good data on the chart, I might just use it for one of the things that I just trade options on every day.
Okay.
And then day trading is anything that you're going to buy and sell in the same day.
Yeah. Okay.
Like MT4, do you swing trade or day trade with it? It's mainly for day trading, right?
Depends on what I'm trading. MT4 is just a platform that executes your trades for you. So if I'm trading US 30, I'm really sketched out with US because boy, that thing she likes to move quick. So I'm day trading it. Typically, I mean, you could say I'm scalping it because I'm in and out. I ain't letting nobody take that money. So if I'm, because I can use MT4 and Cedar FX, the MT4 broker I use, I can use it to trade Tesla, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, XRP, whatever I want. I mean, that's kind of like the good thing about MT4 and hooking up with some of them brokers like that. Um, but yeah, it just depends like what I'm trading. Like Bitcoin, I'd probably day trade it for me versus swing trading it because she likes to just dump 20,000 in no time. So you know what I mean? Uh,
Quick.
yeah, I would say I'm probably more. If it's not stocks, I don't want to swing trade it. If it's not something like this, like eBay, and it's got a clear, beautiful trend on it, or something like that. If it's not options, I don't really want to swing trade it. So I'll be day trading that other stuff. Because like this, I got a lot of people on my side here on eBay that sees the same thing I'm seeing, sees the same thing you're seeing, and we're all wanting the same goal, and we're all wanting to make money on it. So when it comes down here to trend line, most people on the other side of the screen want this thing to pick up off the trend line. And so if we all gather together and we're like, hey, everybody wants this thing to pop up off the trend line, well, then we're all going to make money. But yeah. When it comes to the trend line, another thing you want to make sure is it's not lazy when it comes to that trend line. You can kind of see, let me jump back to the 4 hour and then I'll show you the 15. You can kind of see over here, it's kind of been hanging out here for a few days, it looks like. Kind of just bouncing around here. You really want a healthy candle. Like you see this, can everybody, let me zoom in, you can see. So you see this one right here that my crosshairs are on? This big, tall green one? You want to see something like that when it comes to your trend line. Something like this big green one here. It's an engulfing bullish candle. It swamps the size of the other one. You want to see that when it comes to the trend line. If you don't see that, if you kind of see it playing a little like this, kind of crap right here, it's really small bodies, kind of shooting her back and forth. Kind of be careful with that because there's a good chance that thing might break through the trend line if it's weak like that. That means there's not a lot of buyers right there. So the sellers have a good advantage and a good possibility of overpowering the buyers at the trend line, and damn well they're trying to push it down. But yeah, same thing at the resistance. If you're going to look to buy puts up here or go short on something, you want to see a nice healthy candle that goes in your favor. It doesn't have to be this massive red one like this. It could be this good sized red one right here. And then you get a gap right here. This is most likely because I have extended hours off, and so in pre-market or something it was probably moving down. Yeah, it's trading is super easy. It's really, really easy. Once you understand how to draw these trend lines, it's stupid easy. The hard part of trading is the emotions of missing out or chasing something. If I don't get in this, I'm never going to get a trade. There's always something. There's always something else to trade. There's always another setup coming. So just if you can control your emotions and discipline yourself to wait for these signals on these trend lines, you'll get it. Like you're going to nail it. The people that say trading is hard are the ones that are trying to sell you a course. So watch out for that. But just wait. Just kind of if you can discipline yourself to wait for it to come down to your trend line, you're golden. But I'll show you on the 15-minute now, and we can go to the 5-minute too if you guys want to. But like you see how this got a pretty good sized red candle here. But then right here at 10:30 we got a massive green one. Like that's right on your trend line, and you can kind of hold through this, or you can kind of take profit here when it let's see, 73.17, and probably would have got in around 72. So a good dollar something on the contracts. Here a little higher if you held through it because you knew it was at the trend line, then even higher. You're talking about $3, $4, $5. If this is Tesla, you're talking maybe $20, $30, $40, $50. Everything moves off of trend lines. Everything has trend lines most of the time. If you can't see a trend line clearly on it, like if you can't, like it goes back to the don't force it. If you can't see it clearly, just move on. It's not worth it. there'll be something out there where you can clearly, you click to the chart, you'll go to the 30-minute, the 15-minute, the hour, the 4 hour, you'll clearly see it and stick there. If you can't clearly see it on something, move on. It ain't worth it. Like this here, if you got in on one of these candles, because there's a nice little good sized candle compared to this little green one down here, and it came back, and then boom, they bought it up again, and it really shot it up. Well, now you're talking. I mean, it's some good. This is it. This is close to $2 on some contracts, and that's a lot. That's a lot. Rhett, I've never traded eBay personally. Rhett has though, and from what I remember, he was making some good money on them. Kind of like Dollar General. Dollar General move $1, $2, but man, those contracts made so much, so much percent of premium on top of what I paid for them. It was crazy. All right, let's see. We're on the 5-minute here, so same thing, different day. You're just watching for that touch on the trend line, and it'll bounce around on it. That's fine. If it doesn't, just touch off and immediately take off. Something like Bitcoin, we might see more of a quick touch off and ripper. But we can zoom in here. We see a touch off on our trend line, and immediately just shoot up, just shot it up. Beautiful. And again, that was at 10:30. Go figure.
That's real nice.
$2.30 here, depending on where you got in. That's a lot. Don't think that ain't a lot. $2.30 on some contracts is a lot of profit. Just wait for that trend line touch. That's it. Easy money. And since I'm working on the house a lot here lately, I'm probably going to start swinging some contracts. Start looking for some entries. Scan some of the good names. I like to stay to the big names. I don't like the penny stock crap. That's just a chase game, and most of the time you get caught up. Stick to the big names. Have a big list of them. I'll just go through them every day. Wait till they touch trend lines. Buy puts, buy calls, whatever it is. Easy money.
Dylan, if you're swinging those contracts, are you still turning on the 1 hour and then watching the 15?
If I'm swinging it, I'm most likely not watching the 15. I like the 1 hour compared to a lot of other stuff, but I'll always peek at the 4 hour.
Okay.
The 1 hour is probably what I'll stay watching if I'm watching it. Or if I go open my phone and I look at it to make sure it's still going in my favor, because the 1 hour gives you more candles, gives you a little bit more insight as to how it's going. It takes a while for them 4 hour candles to build all the way.
Yeah.
And I have a problem with patience. One day I'll get that under control. Don't think I don't go chase shit. I'm throwing money at the screen all the time, just like everybody else. I need to get a rubber band on my wrist or something and start smacking it every time I don't buy something on the trend line, just like everybody else. But I try to stick to the rules. Sometimes a US 30 position is just looking too good.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of US 30, I want to kind of peek at it real quick.
Real quick, while you're doing that, the different colored dots, purple, orange, green.
Yeah, it's honest thoughts. It's just a quick indication to show, like a quick visual to show you how much percentage of profit your position would be in if you took that last signal. So like it could be like 5%, 10%, 20, 30, above. Just like a quick little sight kind of thing.
Okay. Green is obviously good.
Good. Oh yeah, that's real good. Yeah, US is looking good for a. Well, See, this is the thing with US is it's a little tricky sometimes.
So, say like, just for instance, I'm watching crypto coin. You know, I've got my Crow coin or whatever. I've got my trend line. It's fallen below my support. So, and I mean it's a pretty healthy fall. Um, so I could basically ride that bear signal all the way down and just wait for my next bull signal.
Can you send a screenshot in here of what you're talking about?
Yeah. If it's not interrupting, we can do it later.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. No, that's good.
Let's see here. I'll get out full screen.
Actually, what's like the ticker on it? I'll just look it up right here so everybody can see it.
Showing you right now. Can you see it?
If I click on yours, it might cut mine off. So.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. No worries. I'll send a picture. Alright, coming in. Okay.
Alright, here we go. CRLUSD.
That's a good one.
Oh, dude, she's been so good to me today.
She just launched not long ago, huh?
It's good, dude. It pumped all the way up. I mean, what did it do? Like 30 cents today or something? Which is like almost 100%.
Yeah, I'd hate to tell you. Like it might.
No, just like an interpretation, not like a not looking for advice kind of.
Yeah. Well, the problem with stuff like this is, one, there's not, since it just launched not long ago, there's not really much data on the chart. And then two, when they have such a steep move like this, it's hard to put any trend line on there.
Yeah.
We'll see. I kind of feel like this is a good spot here, and then probably something in here is probably what people are seeing, and that's probably why we got that bounce right there, and a nice popped up there. But I'm not a big pattern person, so because I kind of think they're BS. But if enough people see them, they don't turn into BS. So I'm not saying that's a Head and Shoulders, but just watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say that's probably what I would expect people have on their charts as far as trend lines. Maybe watch it for the next few candles. I'm on the 15-minute right now. Maybe watch it for the next few candles. It's either gonna do this here. Probably, well, since it's already tested it, it probably won't test it again if it wants to break through here. So it's either gonna just straight break, come up, test the bottom, and move lower, or it might come back down here and then bounce up. There's a few different paths that it probably could take, but that's a pretty good sized red candle there.
Which one?
The
long wick right there
current
in your
the current. Well, yeah, we got 3 seconds left on this candle, so let's see. Yeah, so that last previous 15-minute candle is pretty good sized red candle. So the buyers might be kind of losing steam. But let me show you guys a trick with Heikin Ashi real quick. If you guys weren't in, I explained this the other night, but I can't remember who was all there. So the reason I love Heikin Ashi is it averages the movement of each candle, and then it's very easy to tell who's got the upper hand and who's got the momentum still. Okay, so when I look to get out of position, if, like I said earlier, you're using your take profit 1, 2, 3, based on resistance areas. When I'm day trading, like US 30, for example, when me and Josh were in Florida together not too long ago, I was trading the 1 minute just to mess around. Um, the way I was doing it, I popped my trend lines in there. Of course, like I said, if you're not drawing trend lines, fuck out of here. Okay, like seriously, you're just really. I mean, it sucks because we've all been there. We've all been that person that just threw money at the screen and oh yeah, it's hyped up. Let's go throw the money at the screen. We've all been that person. You can't talk too much crap on them, but if you're not drawing at least a single trend line, you really just need to go to the casino. Um, but on the Heikin Ashi stuff, what I was doing was you can see some of these Heikin Ashi candles don't have a lower wick like out of these green ones here. Some of these green candles don't have a lower wick poking out of them. Same thing with the red ones. These red ones, some of these red ones don't have an upper wick poking out of them. And the way you can use this is if it's a green candle and it does not have a lower wick on Heikin Ashi, it has to be Heikin Ashi. This does not work for standard candles. If it does not have the lower wick on Heikin Ashi and it's a green candle, it's bullish as fuck. If it does not have an upper wick on a red candle, it's bearish as another F word. Very, like it's the momentum is still stupid strong in those candles. So the way I use Heikin Ashi and how you kind of collect the whole good move, because a lot of times people are like, well, I just want to see if it'll go higher, go higher, go higher. And you get trapped and then you end up holding the bag. This is how I not hold a bag. Because you keep holding it, keep holding it, keep holding it until you finally see, if I was in a short position, until I finally seen, I don't care if it's a little hair of a wick start to poke out the top of the red candle, that is when I exit. That tells me that it's getting weak. Same thing with the green stuff. If you start to see like this big red kind of doji candle here after this big green move here, that you got that little kind of doji red candle with those big wicks, that candle probably was green at one point. If TradingView would let us replay on Heikin Ashi, I can promise you that was a pretty good solid green candle until it wasn't. And so at one point in time, that was a nice solid green candle with no lower wick, and eventually a lower wick poked its head on the green candle, and that's where your exit would be. So that shows you the weakness. And there's like times like this, like if you get in here for whatever reason, say you had a trend line here and you got in right here when it started to go green, you got a signal on it, whatever. No lower wick, no lower wick, no lower wick, lower wick, you're out. And then you just wait for the next setup and you do the same thing. So those wicks tell you like exactly when you should get out, in my opinion. But that's just a little extra you guys, can hold on to. But like a lot of times now, since vision doesn't work on Heikin Ashi anymore, I'll swap back and forth from a standard candle chart if I'm in something and I want to see how strong the position and strong the direction is. I'll swap over to Heikin Ashi real quick, check out those, just look, if I'm in a long position, hey, is there any wicks poking out the bottom of the green candles? If there's not, cool. If there is, I'm out.
Okay. So you get out with the wick coming out of the bottom of the green ones.
Yeah, that shows weakness.
So I mean,
like it could keep going like this one did, but there's no guarantee. There's never a guarantee. And so when I see that little bit of weakness start to poke out, I'm gone.
Okay.
But that's just me. And we're on the 15 minutes, so if we go to like a 4 hour, this doesn't look like a very big move, but if we measure this, like let's see, got here, and so like that current candle we're on there on the 4 hours, a nice doji, so it's showing a lower wick. Damn, that was a good lightning strike. If I lose power, guys, sorry. Storm snuck in on us, I guess. But this is a big move. But it's the 4 hour chart, so it doesn't look like a very big move. But yeah, so like you see, you got that trend line in here. Kind of got supported on it. You could have got in there, rode this entire thing. Beautiful run. I hear it.
That is, hold on one second.
Pretty
That is
sick.
literally the loudest thunder I've ever
Oh,
heard.
that's not the
No,
loudest.
that is
Jeez,
the
you're so
loudest. You were in
dramatic,
here.
dude.
You were in here with Dan and your friends and whatever. I'm telling
Yeah,
you.
you're just being dramatic.
I swear
Okay.
to you, babe, that was the loudest thunder I've ever heard in my life.
Give you a hundo if you go stand out in it.
Hey,
Right now?
Callie.
Hundo.
Hi. Who am I talking to?
It's cash.
Oh, hey, Cash Money.
Okay, go on, Kelly.
Are you training or what are you doing? What are you doing?
Well, you gotta hurry up because it might cut my power off here in a minute.
Shit. Do you see that?
Jeez. Overreacting over here. Tell you, these women are something else.
Tell you.
Just overreacting about everything. You know, you call up and you have a date with another girl, overreaction. JK, JK. JK, JK. Anyway, any more questions?
No, I definitely like to talk more about my kid was over here. I was peeling an orange a minute ago, but yeah, I'd love to dive into the Heikin Ashi stuff. But I mean, I can find it.
Well,
I'll
soon
look it up.
Vision will be working on Heikin Ashi again. I can show you a little teaser of what it used to look like. This is what Vision used to look like on Heikin Ashi. And this is one of the older versions. And crypto was one thing that we had to adjust, but I'm using this version right now to trade with an auto trading bot. And so it's been working really good for the bot. But yeah. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I was making sure I wasn't cut off. Boy, it's really Cash.
Yeah.
Thought I told you to keep them damn storms over there, man.
Look here, I'm sorry, alright? I had to split your way.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and stop this recording.